Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these super simple earrings. They're called Vermeil crochet lace wire earrings. And if you know how to use a slip stitch, double crochet, and a chain, that's all you need to make these earrings. I'm going to show you step by step how to make all the stitches for the earring and then talk to you about how to put it together as well. The pattern's available on my website and several other places. All the links are listed below. Let's get started. To get started with the Vermeil crochet wire lace earrings, you want to start with tying the 28 gauge wire or 32 gauge wire around your crochet hook, and then just slide it back and forth a little bit to loosen it up. And if you notice here, this is the same exact pattern, same exact B1 or 2.25 millimeter crochet hook, but look at how different the earring comes out by going with a 32 gauge wire or the 28 gauge wire. I think that that's absolutely fascinating, how just changing the thickness of the wire or the gauge of the wire changes it so much. For today's tutorial, I'm showing you how to use the 28 gauge wire, and the reason being is that this one's a little tougher to deal with. Not that it's tough, but it's got a little more of a learning curve than the 32 gauge wire. If you're used to crocheting with yarn, the 32 gauge wire is very soft and malleable and a lot closer to yarn. The 28 gauge is a little stiffer, and that's why I just wanted to show you some of my tips and tricks for working with it. So we're going to start with a chain 4. And normally when you're working with yarn, if you have a tight tension, it means your stitches are too tight, something that beginners often suffer from because you're stressed out when you're learning something new. Now in wire, you're going to be crocheting tight just because you're struggling with the wire, and in order to keep your stitches loose, even though you're working hard, what you want to do is keep sliding the hook through the loop to keep it straight and even. So we're going to pull our second chain through. Now it's kind of tight at this point, so when I slide my hook back through, it opens it back up and leaves it a little more uniform. That's a great tip for working with crochet wire. So now we've got our chain 4, and I'm going to slip stitch into our first stitch to form the ring. Then we're going to do a chain 3, or chain 4 actually, which is going to count as our double crochet chain 1. Chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and chain 1 counts as the chain 1 between the doubles. And so for the remainder of this round, we're going to work double crochet chain 1 in the ring. So we yarn over the hook, insert our hook into the ring, yarn over and pull up a loop, or wire over in this case, and pull up a loop. Wire over, pull through 2, wire over, pull through 2. There's our first double crochet, chain 1. Then we'll work another double crochet in that ring. Wire over hook, that sounds so silly. Pull up a loop, wire over hook, pull through 2 loops, wire over hook and pull through 2 loops, and a chain 1. Now you're going to complete that all the way around until you have the equivalent of 8 double crochets and 8 chain 1 spaces. Okay, so now we've got all 8 completed, and I slip stitch to the top of the third of the chain 4 at the beginning of the round, so that's slip stitching to the top of the double crochet and still leaving that chain 1 open. So what we're going to do is slip stitch into the space below the first chain 1 space, and now we're going to work 4 double crochets in each chain 1 space around. To do the first one, we do a chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and notice how I'm sliding my hook through the stitch to make those chains uniform. Then we're going to wire over the hook, insert our hook into the space below the chain 1, wire over the hook, pull up a loop, wire over, pull through 2. That's so weird to say. I'd rather say yarn over, but I think you know what I'm saying still. And yarn over, pull through 2. So we'll do that 2 more times for a total of 4 double crochets in this chain 1 space. Wire over, pull up a loop, wire over, pull through 2, and wire over, pull through 2. So now we've got 4 double crochets in that chain 1 space. Now what you need to do is do that all the way around, working 4 double crochets into each chain 1 space around. Now that our round is complete, you can see that we have 4 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces around, and then I slip stitched into the top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round to bring it to close it into the round. So now the next motif is going to be a partial motif worked in rows only, not in rounds, and we start with a chain 4, and then we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd stitch from where we're at. So we're in this one, skip 2, and then slip stitch into the 3rd, and we're going to slip stitch into each of the next 3 actually. So we slip stitch into that one, the very next stitch, and the very next stitch after that. And this can be a little tough to find where to actually work your stitches, where the actual top of the stitch is. For some reason when working in the wire, I find that the top of the stitch curls down on itself. So if you want to use your thumbnail to like pull the stitches back up to the top so that that V that you're normally used to working into in a double crochet is sitting on the top, that does help. So now I've done that slip stitch into the next 3 stitches. We're going to turn our work and work into that chain 4 space that we just made. And we're going to start with a double crochet, and a chain 1, and we're going to do that 5 times. Then we're going to do 1 more double crochet into the ring, or chain 4 space, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to slip stitch into the 2nd stitch from the end on the last round of the motif before. And again, the stitch is kind of turned over, so I just have to kind of bend it to get into it. Okay, so then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch as well. And then when we turn our work, what we're going to do is work 4 double crochets into each of those 5 chain 1 spaces. And that's all we do here. That finishes this row, and we'll slip stitch at the end, and then you repeat that again for as many motifs as you want to add for the entire length that you want for your earring. After you do that, what I'd like to show you is that you're going to pound your earrings with a hammer. Notice this one is an earring that I started already, I almost finished it, but notice that this is the same exact pattern as this one, and look at how different it is in size, and that's because this one has not been pounded yet. And if you can even see, look at the thickness. Hope that shows up on the camera. This one's very thick and very floppy, and this one is very thin, very light, but has a stiffness to it so that it will stand still when you wear them now. For weaving in the ends, it's pretty much similar to yarn in the respect that we're going to thread the wire with a tapestry needle and weave it in through the work. To put the French hook on, you're going to use pliers, and if you want the earring to lay flat facing out with your face, you want to put the French hook right onto the earring. Now if you want it to face sideways to go along the side of your ear so that you're just seeing it out from the side view, what you want to do is put a jump ring there first and then attach your French hook to the jump ring. I hope that helps, and if you can share your photos with me, I'd love to see them. Share with me on Facebook, Twitter, Ravelry, Craftsy, even here on YouTube, anywhere you like. All the links will be available at the bottom of this video. Thanks for watching.